And hello everyone, Lights and Gear is back, and we have one of the latest releases from Klarus to talk about today. The G series is continuing, and this is the G10. Now, if that series at all sounds familiar to you, that's fine if it doesn't. But back when, in fact, some time ago, they came out with this one, the G20. And there may actually be other lights in this series, but these happen to be the ones that I grabbed hold of. But the G20 is a nice light, and there is already a video and review of this one. And there are similarities. This is a much bigger flashlight, runs on a bigger battery, but the operation of this and the G10 are identical. And this one does have a larger LED. But anyway, just to show you that there are others in the G series, and I did review the G20 some time ago. It's a nice light. I use this every day. So anyway, here we have the G10, and it is a much smaller light than the G20 because it takes only one 18650 battery. And unlike the other G20, it does come included with a battery. So they give you all the accessories you need to get up and running with the flashlight right away. So, as you can see on the package, battery is included. It has micro USB charging. It's 1800 lumens as advertised by Klarus on the turbo mode. And on the side of the box, the usual information over here, including your beam distance, 250 meters, and 170 hours on lowest mode. You get your candle power. It is impact resistant to a meter, and it's IPX8, so it is submersible underwater. Opening up the package, of course, and here is everything that you'll get, everything you get, and everything you need. Here's the belt holster, and inside the holster are the rest of the goodies. Here's your USB, micro USB charging cable. Looks the same as all the others. And down in here is an accessory pack. You have a lanyard in here and a spare O-ring. And that would be about it as far as this accessory is concerned. So there you go. The O-ring just fell into the box, and here's your lanyard. So anyway, those are all your accessories, and of course, the user manual. Where'd that go? Oh, there it is. Okay, user manual right here, and flashlight right here. So let's just run over a little bit of information here, English side. And you do have 4 lighting modes: low, medium, high, and turbo, from 10 to 100 to 400 to 1800. Strobe and SOS are also included. SOS is 100 lumens. And there are your other bits of information, including the run times, and of course everything else here regarding the specs and so forth. And does give you all the other pieces of information. It has mode memory, of course. Mode memory does, however, only work on one of the switches when you're operating the light via the side switches. There are 2 switches to the light, so we'll get to that in a moment here. You got mode memory, you have a lockout so it doesn't accidentally turn on in your pocket. And there's also the intelligent protection system for the body temperature of the light. And there is the indicator here for the battery capacity as well, as that turns from green to orange to red, depending on how strong your battery is. As it says right here, if you are using the light via the tail switch, there is no mode memory. That's only when using the side switch. And so anyway, flashlight is a pretty good size. It's less than 5 inches long. And here's your main switch right here, of course. Here's your tail switch right here. The name is on the side. This is fairly attractive here with its little ridges, its little knurling, its little spines of knurling and so forth. And here's the USB charging port on this side. Right there. So, operation of the light, and of course, oh yeah, your pocket clip here is already attached. So operation of the light, you can do it a couple of ways, but actually let me show you this part first. I'm kind of just going a little bit ahead of myself. To get to the battery, and by the way, of course, the battery comes with the light, tail cap does not come off. I started turning it at first and thinking, something's not right here. It's all awfully tight, but tail cap, although it looks like it comes off, will not. You have to access the battery by undoing the head. And then it dawned on me that this is exactly the same as the G20. So they've done this the same way. And here's inside the head there. And the battery they give you already is the 3600 mAh, 18650, nice quality battery, highest capacity possible, and button top. So that's what they've done. And inside the tube, you have a spring down in there. So, positive up, of course, and you can use other batteries, as is most cases with these lights. They give you the battery, so there's really no reason to use any other, but you can. It takes these Samsung flat tops very well, accepts them beautifully, and you can also use smaller batteries. You can use a couple of 18350s here, and another 18350, different brand. So 18350 is a go. Also our 16340s, and of course you can also use disposable CR123s like this. But any rechargeable this side or disposable will work. Rechargeable, the USB recharging, of course, USB charging does not work unless you're using an 18650. So again, put the battery in and seal down the cap, seal down the head, and as soon as you turn it on, you'll get a green light here to indicate that the battery is of full power. There's your green light. It goes on for a few seconds and turns off. And if it were lower, it would be either orange or red. And as I say, the main operation of the light is using the side switch. So when it turned on there, it was already, even through battery changes, it seems to remember the last mode. So mode memory is kicking in here since it seems to be on high. Let me go down here to low, and let me turn this light off over here so we can just have a little look. Low is low. It's not as low as some other lights because it does not have a moonlight mode. It just goes low, medium, high, turbo. So it's not as low as moonlight, but it's a pretty nice low. Now in the camera, and I'm not sure whether this is going to come through on the video or not, I detect a little bit of flicker because there is a bit of PWM, pulse width modulation, for this light. And I know some will be immediately turned off by that. And it is noticeable only on low and medium. Medium not as much as low. The frequency isn't terribly aggressive, so I think I do have other lights where it's noticeable a little bit more than this, or I could say a lot more than this. So although it's a shame it does have PWM, I think to some they can perhaps get by with it in the way that it is. So anyway, this is low, and as you can see, it goes well into the next room. One click will go to medium, and it's a nice beam. I didn't talk about the LED yet. It is an XHP 35 HDE4 LED, and it is a very nice beam. It doesn't get as much beam throw. There's not as much beam distance as with some other lights, but it's very capable. And if you take a look at my outdoor beam shots and my written review at lightsandgear.com, you can see that. So right now we're on medium, and here's high, and here's turbo. And turbo is pretty darn bright, as you would expect turbo to be. One click and you're back down to low. Now if I want strobe, all I have to do is double click, and there's your There's your disorienting strobe. Another double click and we're into SOS. And then another single click from there and I'm back to the mode I was in previously. Now this is all using the side switch. Now press and hold will turn it off. Now if I press the rear switch, I get instant low. So low instantly is always accessible from the rear switch. If you happen to turn it off in medium or high or turbo from the side switch, you can get to low instantly by pushing the rear button. And even from here, you can start cycling through the other modes just as you can with the side switch. You can do the same cycling through the rear switch, and then pressing and holding will turn it off from there too. You can sort of get the strobe and the SOS are sort of also accessible from the rear switch, but it doesn't seem to work as well. It seems to require a faster click, and sometimes it just turns on low instead of going to strobe, and then sometimes once it's in strobe it won't exactly go to SOS with a double click. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Personally, I would use the side switch to get to the emergency modes. It works much better. It's much faster. I mean, it's easier to press, for one thing. The side switch is easier to press than the rear switch. And I would recommend doing it via the side switch. Anyway, so those are the modes, as you can see. And check out those beam shots on my written review, and you can certainly get an idea of what it looks like outside. It's, you know, pretty impressive. And it is a relatively easy light to operate. There's no programming involved or anything like that, or any other choices within the selection of modes. It is what it is, and it also tail stands very well. Hello, where's it tail standing? There it is. So on some other lights, of course, where you have rear switches that are reverse clickies, they don't tail stand, but this one does so like a champ. So that's one thing I do like about the G10. And as I said before, once you turn it off and then turn it on, you always get that indicator there of your battery. And of course, to charge it via the USB circuitry is extremely easy. Naturally, just pull back the flap here and connect the micro end into the unit. And as soon as you've connected a power source to it, it will let you know that it's charging. So just plug that in, of course, to a power source, and you'll get a red indicator right here in the button to let you know it's charging. And when charge is finished, it will change to green. They do recommend using a 1 amp charging adapter for maximum charging time, or what I mean by that is the fastest charging time. If you were to use an adapter which was lower than 1 amp, it would take longer. So that's how you use all that aspect of it. Of course, if you'd like to pick one of these up, there's a link in the description below where you can do so. You can pick one up on Amazon, and the same link is also at my written review at lightsandgear.com. So again, if you'd like to hop over there and take a look at those pictures, you'll get the links there as well to pick up a G10 from Klarus for yourself. And it's a nice light. Except some people may be bothered by the PWM, and I can certainly see that. I can notice the PWM, and I can see that some people will be turned off by that. So that's your own choice. But anyway, other than that, it is a nice flashlight. It has some nice features, and you can't go wrong usually with Klarus quality, that's for sure. I've certainly enjoyed the other Klarus lights I have, and I don't see that this one in that regard will be any different. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Leave me a comment if you need to, and we'll see you at lightsandgear.com for more flashlights, batteries, and chargers. And thanks for watching today's video on the Klarus G10. Take it easy.